This episode will contain spoilers for the Barbie movie. Duh.
You probably knew that when you read the title of this episode. All right, apparently we are live.
Welcome to the In the Garden podcast with Gideon, Marlatt, and Jake Hughes. We have our special guest today, Abigail Farley.
Hi.
Hi. Do you prefer to be called Abby, or is that just something that you're undecided on?
I normally go by Abby, but I do respond to Abigail.
Okay.
So,
fantastic.
Unless Ethan Bernard calls me Abigail, there's a story, but
Oh no.
it's too long to tell.
Wait, hold on.
You're just going to leave our listeners with that?
You just spilled the beans. Come on.
Oh no. And he just once in class was like, Abigail said this thing. And then he kept talking, and halfway through a sentence, I realized he was talking about me. So I turned around and I said, were you talking about me? In the middle of his sentence. And he was like, what? And I was like, was that me? And he was like, yes. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just totally interrupted you. It was really awkward. Anyways, there's that story.
So now he's not allowed to call you Abigail?
He can.
He is forbade.
You have forbidden
At
him.
his own peril.
To be fair, there is a couple Abigails. Not a lot, but there is a couple.
There's a few of us around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also have Carter on the show.
Hi.
Our producer.
Hate her. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Carter. I didn't introduce
How
you.
dare you?
You're just this continuous presence that I somehow take for granted.
I'm in every episode, whether I'm in it or not.
Yeah, we do call this In the Garden with Jake Hughes and Gideon Marlatt, but
Really,
in reality, it's just like if Carter wants to be on, he'll be on, you know?
It's Gideon.
Even if he doesn't want to be on, we'll put him on.
I've been brought on unwillingly many times.
Yes.
IHOP, anyone?
Yeah, exactly.
IHOP.
Yeah, do you remember that episode?
I'm blanking on this episode.
Oh, back in the day. So Abby, if I understand correctly, you are an avid supporter of this podcast.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You're the one funding this podcast.
Yeah, with all of my $0.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I listen whenever it drops. I think it's quite fun.
Awesome.
And now you're on it.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, we rarely have people on the show who have listened to the show before.
Oh,
True. It's very true.
Hear
We had Brian
that,
Sarche on
fans.
and-
Hear that, fans. One day you can be on the show if you're an avid listener like Abby.
You
Gotta
have
say,
a,
like a producer, there is a huge asterisk next to that.
if you have a contrary enough opinion, and tell Carter about it.
Yes.
Yeah, but you listen to the show on a regular basis, right?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Okay.
That's
Wait, did
awesome,
I hear
and
a
yet at the
contrary
same-
opinion?
What?
Did I hear something about a contrary opinion?
Oh, is this why we have you on?
Is there a disagreement?
Oh, brother.
Well, I mean,
People disagree with us, Gideon? What does this world come to?
many good things.
With respect, I thought you guys were way too hard on the Barbie movie. I actually thought it was
Oh,
quite
no.
good.
Are we talking about
Quite
this
good.
movie again?
Back
Yeah.
again.
It hasn't had enough attention, I think.
It's-
Definitely needs.
It's like the number one
needs
film in
more
America at this
stuff.
point.
Hey,
That's still not
hey,
enough?
You know what? That's fair. Like any other woman needs more attention.
my
Dang.
God.
Wow.
To be fair, I
Gideon.
have not heard a single person who wasn't a female say that the Barbie movie wasn't getting a lot of attention.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm just going to be offended.
Goodness.
We've done our job, Gideon.
Hey,
Cheers.
hey! It was just a joke.
I know.
But also remember that there's a kernel of truth in every joke.
Oh my God. That's fair. That's fair.
Gideon bust out the
What a
spade
quote.
on this episode.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So let's start off here. What did you think of the Barbie movie?
I loved it, actually. I left the theater thinking, wow, that was a great movie. And it caused a lot of great conversations on the way home with my family because we all went and saw it as a family.
Okay.
And my brother's friend also came. That was last minute, but it was very fun. And I was talking about it with my mom and my dad and my sister mostly, and we were all like, wow, that was surprisingly not feminist, is what we thought when we watched it. And then
Did we watch the same movie?
I know, well, that's what I was confused coming out because I saw it and I thought, wow, that was the most pro-motherhood, anti-feminist movie
What?
I've seen in a long time. And then I heard all of the like hatred of it, and I was like, were people like misunderstanding like what Greta Gerwig was saying? Do people like not know her history, especially with motherhood and feminism? Like, I was very confused actually.
Okay.
I was actually pretty curious because I was wondering what your dad thought of this movie. Your
Mhm.
dad is a filmmaker.
Yeah.
He works for Lore TV, right?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've heard some of his. I've seen him on what's Chocolate Knox's show on
Knox
Knox
Unplugged.
Unplugged. I've seen him a couple of times on that show, and he's very opinionated when it comes to films.
He is. Yes.
So
I get
I was
that
interested in hearing what
comparison.
he had to say about the film, but he thought it was not as feminist.
He thought it was pro motherhood. I actually, in preparation for this episode, I called him and I walked through every one of the things
We
that
should
you
talk
guys
about how much
said.
you've prepped for this episode.
yeah.
What is that you have in front of you right there?
It's like 5 pages of notes.
5 pages.
It's it's an impressive amount.
I have a lot to say.
She wrote an essay.
All right, well, let's not stall any
I
further.
know,
Let's
right?
get into this.
Okay. So the way I'm going to go through this is I'm going to go through every point that you guys made on your episode.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. I
Because
feel
that's
like
the easiest way.
We do have a fan on this show, don't we?
Well, because the reason is because all of the points you made are the ones that I've been hearing a lot. So it's just easiest to go like chronologically
Okay,
through your
There
guys.
you go.
take it away
So
then.
it's not just like to smash on you guys. It's like there's a reason. Okay. So the first thing,
I feel like I'm being talked to by a lawyer.
I'm sorry.
Listen, it's not.
You're not in
Don't
any trouble.
apologize. I'm liking it. It's just kind
Okay.
of fun to listen to.
Yes. Okay. So the first thing that you guys said was that Barbie should have ended up with Ken. That is just no.
Did
He
we say
should
that?
not. Yes,
I think
you
we did. Yeah.
Okay, so I have many reasons for this. The first one is that there's no fruitfulness in Barbie Land, and I think one of the things that is very clear through the movie is that the reason that Barbie wants to go to the real world is so that she can become a mother. And if she stays in Barbie Land with Ken, she's like, that's not going to happen because they're dolls, and Ken doesn't want to go to the real world. He does want to stay in Barbie Land. So that's the first reason. And then also, like, Ken is just still acting like a child. Like, he's just very like childish, has a very like
very true.
simple view of
A
the
very
world. and
patriarchal
Barbie-
child, but
No, that is childish. But
It's true.
not that I guess I am saying everyone in the manosphere is childish, so don't be too offended. But
We're not manosphere.
Hey,
I know, not you guys, just
yeah, in the garden, promoters of the manosphere.
no, you all
No,
rightly condemned that.
Yeah.
But anyways, so and then also like Barbie just doesn't like Ken. Like that's why she treats him terribly when he's her boyfriend. So it wouldn't even be good for Ken to like stay in a relationship where your like attraction is not reciprocated. Like don't do that to yourself. Just leave at that point. And yeah, so one thing that my dad actually said is that Barbie is ready to be Eve, but Ken is not ready to be Adam. So that relationship can't work when there's two differing levels of maturity. So that's the first
Okay.
thing is just they should absolutely not have ended up together.
Can I push back a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you mentioned that Barbie goes to the real world because she wants to be a mother. Is that stated explicitly in the movie, or is that implied?
Yeah.
It's
well,
I
I think so.
It's not stated. I don't think. It's
If I
stated
remember
explicitly.
correctly, she goes to the real world to confront or talk to the person that's playing with her.
At the beginning.
beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning.
At
It's
the
talking
end.
about the ending.
Yeah.
At the end, though.
Oh, at the ending when
When
she
she goes
visits
at
the
the end.
gynecologist.
Yes, and I'll get to that. I will.
Okay,
I will.
well
That's
then-
part
I
of my
think I
notes.
know.
Please.
I think I know where this is going, and I feel like I might agree. But
you.
go ahead.
Okay. So then the next one, you all hated on the line, it's Barbie and it's Ken. And I really like that line. Maybe I'm just too much into like cheesy movies, but
hate
I
that
love
line.
that.
And it's Ken.
It's
There is
really
no
cheesy.
just again.
It's really cheesy, but first of all, I think that whole scene is just supposed to be funny pretty much. So I don't think it's like
I felt like I was watching modern day Clueless.
I love Clueless.
Oh, wow.
Which
okay.
might
We're
explain
set up.
some
The
things.
ethos just goes.
Hey, it's actually a very
No,
faithful
carry on.
adaptation of Emma. Okay. So the first reason that I liked that whole scene is because like your whole identity should never be wrapped up in another person.
Yes.
You bring fulfillment to relationships. You don't get fulfillment from relationships. So
Fair enough.
that's not like
Wait, what?
I know. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's not. I don't think it's that.
Did we say
weird.
the opposite in our
No,
podcast?
No,
Or-
no. But you guys
need
were.
to be dependent every step.
No, that's not what I'm. That's
No,
not what
no,
I'm
no,
saying.
I know.
I'm saying what you guys said was that they like again that they should have that should have gone differently,
Okay,
and
sure.
that wasn't a good line. But I thought that line was a good expression of like, look, we are two individual people and we
Okay.
don't work together. So it's okay to say like I'm Barbie and you're Ken. You don't have to be Barbie.
Fair enough.
Okay, and
Fair
Okay.
so everything with Ken, I think, is supposed to show what feminism does to men. Actually, it makes them like stupid and simps and like all of these horrible things that, first of all, it's not very attractive. And second of all, it's just not the way that a man is supposed to be. So I think that everything with Ken and with all of the Kens is supposed to be like, look, if you are a man and you grow up in a feminist society that's telling you that like women are amazing and like should be girl bosses and you should just be an accessory, then you're going to turn out like this, kind of silly and stupid and not really understanding how the world works, which is true. I mean, there are a lot of, and on TikTok recently, probably not, but like there's a lot of
Someone's on
beta
TikTok.
males.
Those are boys,
I'm
not
not
men.
not actually on TikTok, but I've seen videos where it's just like that's just dumb. Anyways, okay, and then you guys talked about the speech, the so-called feminist
America Ferrera's speech.
Oh.
I actually-
yes.
Let's hear a woman's perspective on this.
Yeah, go
actually,
ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, we were just mansplaining this whole time, so let's hear it.
mansplaining is valid.
You're mansplaining correct.
But
Do you know what mansplaining is, by the way?
isn't it?
Let
yeah.
me explain it
It's
to you.
man
it's-
explaining.
It's man explaining. I don't
That's
know
why I
if you know
said
the.
it's- Oh my
If you
gosh.
know the two terms, they're just pushed together.
Oh my gosh. Man.
I rescind
Are we Ken
saying
in
that
this situation?
mansplaining was valid.
We're sorry.
Men should never explain anything.
Wow, we're too good at this.
Oh.
Okay, so pretty much everything in that speech, there are some things that are actually feminist, but most of it is actually things that feminism ruined for women. So I'm
Okay.
going to read a couple of lines out of it really quick. Just,
Please, go ahead.
This is going to
Wow.
give us PTSD.
I know. Okay, so
I feel like you should say Your Honor before you start this.
Your Honor, allow me to bring forth this evidence. So one of the things that she says is you have to be thin, but not too thin, and you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but you also have to be thin. So that whole like thin versus healthy dichotomy, that's something that feminists talk about a lot because it's what feminists ruined for women. Like if you're a woman now, you can't say you want to be healthy because then you're fat shaming, or
Okay.
thin because you're fat shaming. So that's one thing that feminism ruined. Okay, another thing. This is great. You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women because you're supposed to be a part of the sisterhood. The sisterhood is a feminist thing. That's something that like now we feel like if we say things or do certain things, we're like hating on other women.
Okay.
And it's very dangerous because then you get dogpiled on by feminists who are like, you're hating women. So those are just two examples. I can read more, but those are just two examples of things that actually feminism ruined for women. So I think that speech was very,
men-
yeah, not that men did. There are some
Okay.
things in the speech that are like, okay, like that's feminist. There are some things that's like, that's not feminist, but only feminists talk about that because feminists,
Hold on. So why would you take these quotes over the other ones that might take
yeah.
more of a feminist role?
Because I think that the overall, so the speech is just like 3 minutes in the middle of the movie, and I think it does.
It feels like it drags on forever.
It took them
but-
3 days to film it.
3 days.
3 days?
Wow, that's crazy.
Whoa.
Why?
Because she kept messing up.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, it's a long speech. You gotta have the whole thing down. Okay, so the question was why do you take the
Yeah,
not
yeah,
feminist parts? Okay, I think the speech encapsulates really well the whole tone of the movie because it has some things that are wrong and incorrect because these are, not Christians making it. They don't have a correct worldview.
Sure.
It has some things that are like neutrally right, if that makes sense. Like they're not like feminist or anti-feminist. They're just like, this is how human beings work. And then it has some things that are anti-feminist. And I think that's a really good way to describe the movie is that like, especially the way that they portray masculinity, that's not right. That's not true. But the way that they portray a lot of different parts about femininity are true and are good. So it's like, it's not a perfect movie by any
Sure.
stretch of the imagination, but it has truth and falsehood in it. And I think that it has a lot more truth than falsehood.
So
Okay.
I think that brings up,
Hmm.
especially with the speech, directorial intent.
Right.
Do you think that Greta Gerwig intended that speech to be anti-feminist?
Exactly.
'Cause-
No.
Hasn't
Okay.
she
I
flat
don't.
out said that this is a feminist film?
Yeah.
Yes, she has. Yeah.
She hates the response it's been getting by
Mhm.
men who like Ken.
I know, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so Greta Gerwig is a feminist. She goes out and she says that. But if you look at her body of work, I actually haven't seen Lady Bird, but the 2019 Little Women, I really love.
Yeah.
She is very, very pro motherhood in everything that she does. And automatically, if you're pro motherhood, you're anti-feminist. Because the whole program of feminism is kill all the babies. Because if you have a baby, you can't be a career woman. Make sure that your husband is submissive to you. Or just don't have a husband, just have a bunch of different guys. And everything that Greta Gerwig puts out is basically saying like, hey, motherhood is actually good and beautiful and really important. And as it turns out, if you choose to like get married and have kids and have a family and have one husband and love him and submit to him, that actually does make you happy, as it turns out. Which, you know, she's not a Christian. So she has that tension inside of her where she's looking around and she's saying, hey, wait, I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I have a husband who I love. And I'm looking out and I'm seeing motherhood fulfilling women. And all of the people who are saying it doesn't are just lying. And so she's going out with a not fully correct perspective because she has a contradiction inside of her own worldview, I think. But I think that you can see the truth that she sees in her films.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Okay, so can you point out the areas specifically in the movie where Greta Gerwig praises motherhood?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have a section in your notes about that?
I do. Well,
Because it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so
And all
I'll
I
need a
can think of
refresher.
with Barbie and motherhood is the midge, the pregnant Barbie, and every time anyone sees her, it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
ah!
yes. Yeah. No, yeah. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
because if I remember correctly, the beginning of the movie is like the parody of 2001: A Space Oddity.
Mhm.
There's no
Space
way it's about
Odyssey.
abortion.
Yeah,
No.
I had a
I-
feeling that this reeks of abortion.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm-
so I actually do think I don't think it's about abortion, but it is about the feminist dethroning of motherhood.
Yeah.
It's very clearly supposed to be Barbie came in and made all of the little girls stop wanting to be mothers, made them all smash their baby dolls,
Is that
made
what Barbie
motherhood
did?
obsolete. That's I don't know if that's what Barbie did, but that's what the movie is about.
Oh,
is like
okay.
this is what Barbie did. And so then you get to Barbie Land. I'm just gonna go through the movie because it's
Okay,
the
please
easiest
do.
way. Then you get to Barbie Land and you have all of these like girl boss women and they're like amazing and they all have their careers and all their like pretty clothes and all of these things. They're doing great. And then you have Midge and we don't talk about Midge because she's pregnant. How awkward and embarrassing for a doll to be pregnant. Oh my goodness. And then Barbie starts having problems. And what are her problems? It's because there's a woman in the real world who is not living the ideal of Barbie. She's living a normal life. She has a husband. She has a daughter. She loves her daughter and she just wants the best for her daughter. And she's not being satisfied by the ideals of Barbie because she feels like she can't live up to this expectation of like girl bossery or whatever.
Right.
And she becomes the hero of the movie. The mother of a daughter becomes the hero of the movie. And when she gives her whole speech, one of the points of her speech is like, we're supposed to like love our kids, but we can't talk about them too much because that's embarrassing. And I think the whole point of that mother being the hero of Barbie Land is that all of these Barbies, they didn't have a mother, they were just created. And so what do they need to like snap them back to reality? They need a mother. They need a mother to come in and tell them how the world works, which again, some of the things that she says aren't true, but that principle that you need a mother to tell you how the world works, that is true. I would say. I can see your face,
That's
Carter.
fair.
But let me finish. And then also
Carter's face is scrunching
No, you
up.
need a man to tell you what the world is.
Should we mansplain what the world is?
That's a fair point. Yeah.
And then
exactly.
and then the most important part of the movie that no one ever talks about is Ruth. All of the scenes with Ruth, who's the creator of Barbie. I think those are the most important scenes in the movie.
I mean, yeah, it feels like a very pinnacle point.
Yeah, and I haven't seen very many people talking about them. But one of the things that happens when Barbie walks in the first time at Mattel, when she walks in and meets Ruth, she says, "Oh, finally, women do work in this world. And Midge says, oh, honey, women do so much more than work. Because Midge is, or not Midge, Ruth. Midge is the pregnant
Ruth.
Barbie.
Yeah.
Because Ruth is a mother. The reason she created Barbie was because she loves her daughter and she wanted the best for her. But she believed the lie of feminism. So there's like kind of an irony there because Barbie ended up being worse for women, but she created it, loved her daughter. Anyways. And then two, sorry, this is very scattered, but the beginning of the movie opening with the smashing of the dolls. And then the movie ends, the last scene is her going to the gynecologist. Because,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, because the gynecologist is the doctor for women's reproductive systems.
Exactly. Yeah.
She wants to be a mother now. And okay, and then two, in the, you know the scene where there's that Billie Eilish song playing and she's like having the like flash back to like what will it mean if I become a real person? Almost every single one of those flashbacks is a mother with her children or children playing or just mothers like laughing. Like all of the scenes in there are about motherhood. So I think it was super clear to me when I watched it that she's going into the real world because she wants to be a mother and because she has that desire. And if she stays in Barbie Land, she can't ever get that because even Midge is like sort of like in Narnia, like always pregnant, never a baby.
Yeah.
Because in Barbie Land, everything is unfruitful and everything is barren and there can't be children, there can't be love or reproduction, which is perfect. They're the perfect feminists. They're the best feminists, but like that's not what real women want. Real women want to be mothers.
Right.
Not all of them, but like for the most.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I mean, it's a subtle, but there is a consistent reference to the fact that there's no reproductive organs with any of the Barbies.
Yeah, and some of
General
the jokes
Barbie.
they make about that are very crass.
It is.
And
yeah.
I don't like how crass they are. But I actually didn't think the gynecologist one was because I just thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh hard enough that I was fine with it. And I don't think that, talking about women's reproduction is crass. But anyways. I thought it was
It's
funny.
kind of weird that your mic kind of cut out when she said the word reproductive systems.
Yeah.
Women's
Systems. Yeah.
No,
Anyways.
that's honestly. I as far as that view goes, it's very different. But at the same time, I think it does. I think it does. It is consistent, and you can see it through the film. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree wholeheartedly with it, but I do see it.
I don't
Yeah.
want to like
Fair.
make you guys just like the Barbie movie. My
Well-
only goal is to see that some people have good reasons for liking it.
Sure.
So
It's just hard for me to think that, your average moviegoer would go into this film and get out of it that, motherhood is a good thing.
Mhm.
Because,
Mhm.
I mean, at first glance, when the credits were rolling and that Nicki Minaj song was playing, I was like, so patriarchy is bad. That's the point of the movie.
So
Right?
Exactly.
Any average viewer, I think, would maybe say the same thing. Something
Mhm.
like men are trash or the patriarchy is bad or feminism rules. That's
Yeah. It's if that truly is the message, then we need to shift our evaluation to judge how good the movie is at actually conveying its message.
right. Do you think that was actually Greta Gerwig's intention? Because I'm not a director by any means, or I know a couple of directors who like to put in reverse psychology in their movies in that same way, but do they actually end up being effective? It's a question that I don't really know the answer to because I'm not as much of a filmmaker as other people are, but
No, and I think that there are a lot of contradictions in this movie for that reason. Because I don't think that Greta Gerwig went in. I think that her only thing was it's a movie about Barbie, so it needs to be fun and colorful, and it's a movie about women, which means that mothers need to be involved because that's what it means. Part of what it means to be a woman, and I'm a feminist, so there needs to be some feminist stuff.
right.
And the manosphere is really silly, so there needs to be some stuff about how silly the manosphere is. And
We should talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
yeah, and
The manosphere.
yeah, and I don't think that there was. Again, I don't think it's supposed to be like super deep. It looks like I do because I have 5 pages of notes and I'm very much over analyzing it. But
Sure.
overall, I think it's just supposed to be like a fun, colorful romp. Like they made like the sets are beautiful, the costumes are amazing. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it's supposed to even have maybe even that meaning of like, oh, men are trash and like feminism rules. I think it's just supposed to be like, look, Barbie is cool, and isn't being a human amazing that we have all of these emotions and like that we get to see the world in this way? Like, isn't that so cool? I think that's supposed to be the main takeaway from the movie, just like kind of a celebration of womanhood and humanity. And I think that I definitely didn't come away from it thinking it was saying at all that men are trash. So I thought it was really interesting when you guys said that, actually, because I didn't think it was saying that at all.
Yeah.
But that was the one thing that like all the other stuff I'm like, oh yeah, like I see that. But the men are trash thing, I was like, really? Like I really just didn't see that in the movie at all. But
Can you name one redeemable male character in that movie?
yeah, well, they were all silly and they were all stupid, but they were all well intentioned. So there was no and even the Kens, like the reason that it's so sad because the reason that Ken comes back and wants to put the like Kendom in place is because he goes to the real world and he's walking around and a woman comes up to him and says, "Hey, what time is it?" And he says, "You respect me because you asked me what time it is?" And she's like, "Yes." And he's like, "Oh, I must go tell my brothers about this." And then he goes back. So the whole problem with Ken is how like terribly the Barbies treat all of the Kens. And the Barbies even say that at the end. They don't do anything about it. But even like the what's President Barbie is like, we need to like change some things around here because like it's obvious that the way that we treated these guys has not been good. And you know, Barbie has to like ask Ken's forgiveness for the way that she treated him. She says, I think one of the things she says is like, it didn't need to be girls' night every night because she was just totally neglecting him and being a horrible girlfriend in every way. And then even the Mattel board, like they're goofy and they're silly and they don't really know what's going on. But there's the whole line where they're going to where like the Kendom has taken over and the Ken dolls are flying off the shelves and the Mojo Dojo Casa houses are flying off the shelves and they're going to the Barbie land to like put Barbie back in her rightful place. And one of the other executives says to Will Ferrell's character, wait, like we're making so much money off of these Kens, like why do we have to go change anything? And he goes, you think this is about money? No, this has always been about little girls' dreams in the least creepy way possible. So like even like the Mattel board are like they're good guys. They're well intentioned, even though they're silly and stupid. But
Isn't that line played off as a joke though?
It's supposed to be funny, but he actually has like the real, like he really does care about what Barbie is saying, and he really does think he's making a difference in little girls' lives with Barbies. Because otherwise, like he would have heard what that guy said and just said like, oh, like yeah, you're so right. Because that would have been funny too if he was just like, oh, we're making money. Oh yeah, let's just go back. That could have been played in a funny way too, but. He didn't do that. He said, you think this is about money? No, it's about little girls' dreams. Which, first of all, it's a hilarious line. And then also, it's just like, it's supposed to be like, look, there are men out there who are not like horrible, evil villains. And even Ken, when he is acting like this like really cartoonishly evil guy, he has the whole line where Barbie comes and she's like, what are you doing? Like, you took over my house. And he's like, well, yeah, because tonight is boys' night. How does that feel? And I think that's supposed to, like, he actually says that. And I think that's supposed to be a moment of, like, when Barbie is realizing and when we as the audience are supposed to realize, like, oh my gosh, like, that is totally how Barbie has been treating him. And Barbie was totally fine with it when it was her and it was her girls' night and she got to send Ken off to go sleep on the beach. But now that she's in his shoes, she's seeing what it really feels like to be treated that way. So I don't know. I did not walk away thinking that it was hating on men at all. I thought it was portraying men in a bad way and that it was not an accurate portrayal of masculinity. And that is one of the biggest problems in the movie is that, like, you know, men don't really act like that. Ken is hilarious. And the best scene in the movie is definitely the like fight scene turned to dance off. For sure.
So
but
good.
It's so funny. But again, I didn't think they were portraying men as cartoonishly evil villains. I just thought they were portraying them as stupid, which is a problem. But
Yeah. Yeah, on that, I think there's a reason why so many guys like Ken. It's just because, well, with the modern age and men of the modern age, I think they sympathize with Ken just because of that aspect of, like, this is how it feels.
yeah. Yeah. And too, there's the aspect too of like the Kens, like in that scene where they're like fighting and then it turns into a dance off. I was like, wow, I want friends like this who I can do this with. So I thought it was just like hilarious. And then also just a great like moment of like, wow, friendship is so cool. But again, maybe I watched too many like rom-coms. I was just too into that or something, but I thought it was fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's like I said, I don't fully agree with it, but I think that it definitely is coherent. Your arguments.
Thank you.
It makes sense.
I try to be coherent when I
Yeah. Do you have any last ones? I think we're running low on time here, but anything that you miss that you particularly want to hit?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, she did hit the full movie.
So,
I did.
so would it be fair to assume that Greta Gerwig ended up, the reason why a lot of Christians are defending the movie, is it because Greta Gerwig tried and failed to spread her message and it ended up spreading a truth? Right?
I think her message is just contradictory enough that both Christians and people who hate Christians can take parts of the movie and say, I love this and this is true. And I just think that's because her worldview isn't coherent. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she's a good enough director that her movies spark conversation.
So let's let her
We've
do
done-
Narnia.
Yeah. Don't. Why would you end the episode like that?
She did a really good
Had to do it.
adaptation of one classic children's book.
Well, Abby, thank you for being on the show.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's cool to have fans on the show every now and then.
Heck
So yeah, this has been great. Yeah, fruitful. I haven't heard a lot of coherent arguments. Just like, guys, it's just a Barbie movie. Just let it go.
That's the main one I've heard from
You
friends.
didn't have to. You didn't have to like it.
I mean,
we
that's-
only have to like it.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of that, so it's a breath of fresh air to hear that.
Mhm. If you want to hear more people talking about it too, you can. My dad has Knox Unplugged. What's her name? Brett Cooper has a good review of it. Michael Knowles actually has a really good review of it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are some good places. I like all of those people. You don't have to like any of them, but if you want to hear more people saying similar stuff, that's where to go.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Well,
All
thanks for coming on the show. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah. Do you have any last thoughts? Or
No, it's just, yeah. Thanks for coming on. It's fantastic.
all right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is In the Garden with Jake Hughes, Gideon Marlatt, Carter Brown, and Abby Farley.
Adios.